Then we did a bit of a deeper dive on, well, where do things break? What creates pain and what creates delight? So what will customers tolerate and what will make them churn? So what is pain versus what is churn? Because sometimes we put all of these things in one basket. So the light green is frequent pain points. So the customer's saying, yes, that pains me a lot. Repeating information multiple times, very painful, but not as important for churning. Too many steps to reach the right person. Again, you're causing me pain, but I may not churn. What makes them churn? Unresolved issues. It's still hanging there. I'm feeling uncertain. Are you going to refund me? Are you not going to refund me? Have you informed me? Unresolved issues. 58% said that would make me churn. It would make me switch brands if my credit card hasn't been solved. If it's unresolved in the black hole of nothing, even though it's not paining them, even though it's not taking effort, like the repetition of information, it's driving more anxiety. And at the moment, people are in the great frazzle. They have tight purses. Anything that is left unresolved is churnable. 60%, that's very significant, followed by long wait time. So long wait times are both pain points and churn points, depending on what is standard in your industry. Another very strong indicator of churn is lack of staff knowledge. If they are talking to someone who knows nothing about anything, the frazzle increases and they're ready to go. You're not the right brand for me because I'm going to have to educate your staff. So too many steps. Sometimes we invest a lot in updating our IVRs or updating our journeys. They're saying too many steps to the right person is a big pain. However, getting to the wrong person on the other end is a churn. We've got so many decision and investment points we're thinking about. Staff training, staff knowledge seems to be really strong, worth investing in, as opposed to, steps to reach the right person is what the data is showing. Tech or talk, there is still a very strong preference to human support. There's a few hypotheses around this. People have had such bad experiences with mediocre tech that they would just not want to go there. Now the market is changing and we will release this next year as well, and it'd be interesting to see, is this dial moving as AI gets better, as people have better experiences? Who's talked to a bot in the last 2 years where you feel like, man, this is really bad? Like, I'm just talking to, this is like going nowhere. There is still a strong preference in the market to talking to a human because there is still limited confidence in tech alone. Confidence takes time to build up. It's not something you're going to hang your hat on. 18% somewhat prefer human support. And this also depends on which industry you're in, but more or less, we're not there where you can just say people just want to talk to AI because they're still getting over the past of really bad tech. Or some of the experiments we've done with rolling out tech that was too early to roll out, as in all of us. And then that's made people really tech shy. So they're like, just let me talk to the person because this IVR is not working for me. So this is really a challenge right now as we are all looking at AI investments. People are not easy to find either. We're an aging population all across the developed world. It's not easy to find people, keep people, get them to rock up to work, public transport, all of this. So there's a strong preference to human support. How do we make everything more human? Where does the consumer want AI, or what are they open to looking at? Because we know that they still want human, but how much of it can AI do? So we did a bit of exploration, and next year's report, this will be even bigger deep dive because we know people will be savvy. If we ask consumers so much about AI right now, we're not going to get the answers because they're all learning to use it still. They're not that strong-headed about giving us an opinion on it yet. What is the emotional response to AI right now? These are real emotional responses. So 22% said they're very skeptical, which is quite low. They're skeptical. Another 22 are frustrated by AI. That just be because they don't come from an era of using computers or they've used really bad AI. Even organizations are learning to train the AI. There's not that many AI trainers, engineers available where you just go, I bought the AI, but it needs to be trained. It's not like out of the box. So I divide that into the 50% sitting over there, and then there's 50% that is quite open to it, which is great news, right? Because we can't find staff that easily. You've got 19% that are saying they're neutral, they're open, They're thinking, they don't have an opinion yet, curious, excited, and then you've got this 9% just fully scared of the whole thing. But I think this will always be there because people are scared of new things. They're scared of even talking on the phone, on the chatbot. So there is this emotion. It is a significant percentage. It's not 1% or 2. There is 10% we must acknowledge. And some of our databases will be skewed to this depending on the industry that we're in. When asked, can AI resolve support needs on its own? This is the consumer being asked. This is not technical people or CX experts or customer service experts. This is the consumer. Do they believe, and this is really important, even if we have AI, are we marketing as non-AI? Because they don't actually believe it can be resolved. Only 11% of the market currently believes that AI can fully resolve their issues. So even if we have a contact center or a customer support team that is fully AI, and if you market it as fully AI, you're going to get a lot of people that are thinking, you're not for me. Because I don't actually believe it can be. Even if you're doing it, it needs to have a human feel. Because 37% says partially I get it, it's coming, partially you can help me, partially can, still needs human. A majority of the market is either saying it still needs a bit of human, or the other part is it always needs human. It's about our go-to-markets, even in our customer service charters, that we're still bringing the human to you, even if you're powering those humans with a lot of AI to help them. But the consumer thinks the human is still king and they will resolve things for me. This is really interesting in our go-to-markets, in our customer service promises. Even if we start to use it, we shouldn't necessarily market out the fact that we're using it at this speed because the consumer's mindset is not quite ready yet. Why do they think it can't fully resolve it? Limitations of AI in customer support. Why do you think AI can't resolve your issue? So it says doesn't fully resolve my issues. It doesn't do the final mile. It does a bit of things here. It can change my address. It can do a little bit, but I'm not confident that it can fully resolve my issue. Basically, I'm not confident it fully understands my issue as well. You can flip it on that head. Lacks empathy or personal understanding. Lack of empathy and personal understanding. So anything that drives empathy and understanding is currently valued in the market. Someone who understands me, personalization, but empathy as well. Takes too long and has repetitive loops. So people have already felt those repetitive loops and are freaked out by that I keep saying the same thing and AI keeps asking me the same thing in different ways, and then I'm flustered, and then people do understand that provides inaccurate information. So there is a little bit of understanding and where these two markets are going to meet, where AI is going to get smarter at the same time humans are going to get better at using it and build their confidence. But all of us that are in the customer experience industry can't get there too fast, or can't get our go-to-markets to get there too fast, or our customer charters to get there too fast. We can't be advertising we are the AI-led contact center and we are all completely robotic because the consumer is not ready for it, or the perception isn't there. When asked, imagine if AI could resolve and all of these current issues were solved. It was giving you accuracy, it was giving you knowledge, it was going to resolve the issue fully. How open are you to still use AI? Even after all those issues are resolved, there's still a large part of the market that doesn't have confidence in it. There is a large part of the market, 25% said likely and extremely likely. So if you add those two numbers, that's about a third, or just 37. So about 40% of the market is really open. This is a really big problem that most customer service leaders are dealing with. You've got one side of the market that says, if you can resolve the niggles in AI, I'm all for it. I'm jumping in, I want it. And the other half, if you can solve all the niggles, and niggles, when I say, are very expensive, the final mile of getting AI right and getting that engineering perfect and making it human and empathetic is really expensive. What is the right time to make this investment? Really expensive and really hard to do because there's limited experience in the market. 17% of the market says still not likely to use AI to resolve my issues. Even if you get it perfect for me, I still want the human, which is a big number. And then if you add the 16, 33, a third of the market is saying, I'm not going to use AI even if it's perfect, which is interesting. And we want to track this when we meet again next year. Is this dial moving one way or the other? And some of the best companies in the world that are investing in AI, it may not be us, it may be the trillion-dollar companies. They're going to help shift this curve for us. And that's the investment moment where everyone can jump. Us shifting the curve will require a big investment. So some of these companies building great AI models are actually helping shift the curve a bit in confidence. Where would they like AI, if at all? In text messaging, they like AI in video assistants. Where are they willing to use it? The most in text and chatbots. They're still not comfortable in voice-assisted AI, talking to a robot. I mean, it's only a matter of time. I remember when I wasn't interested in a smartphone, tells you my age. So video assistants, AI voice assistant, people are like, no, I'm not very willing to look at this. It's scary, it's spooky. There's someone who sounds like a human. Text and chatbot, yes, more open to it. And it's really going to be interesting as we move the dial in 12 months. And where does AI add the most value? So how would I use this data? If our companies are going to experiment with AI, we don't want to do it in the most critical moments where they're not open to touching AI. Even if our AI is amazing, the consumer's not ready for it. But in these areas, the consumer's ready for it. Providing simple, quick answers. I don't want to ring someone, get an AI to help me with quick opening hours, password resets, guiding me to the right department faster and through the long queue, talking to them, and even suggesting relevant next steps, suggesting and not 100% noting it down that, yes, this is what's going to happen to you. You may want to try this and that. So people are open to some of these things. All of us have these easier things to solve for. The market is willing and open to actually use AI for some of this, which is really interesting. So what is the tipping point? Now, this is really interesting. We always ask this question, tipping point in delivery. At what point will you switch to in-store? If delivery becomes too long, where would you move to AI? What waiting times will you go, oh, this is too long to talk to a human. Let me give AI a go. This is really important, the tipping point, because sometimes we are driving really low wait times, but then we're not even pushing people to start to use the computer. This was 5 or 10 years ago when self-service first came. All of the big providers said, we're going to slow down our contact centers to push people onto self-service because those long wait times for an address change or a trivial query, if you made it easy enough to do that in your internet banking or your online phone portals, people would go, never doing that again on the phone, I'll just do it myself. Similarly, when asked, at what point would you be willing to look at an AI-based support agent, at what waiting time? So the tipping point here is beyond 5 minutes wait for a query, they're going to give AI a crack. That's the tipping point right now in the market. For certain number of your queues, you may want to try some of the trivial stuff to say, if we do have a really high confidence AI solution available, then making that wait queue on the human alternative really fast means no one's going to adopt this new thing that we've invested in. So what is the tipping point? This is what this is saying. By the time you get to 10 minutes, everyone's happy to jump onto AI because the patience in the great frazzle is very limited, especially as Amazon would have done 3 deliveries by then for the product they're looking for. So this is the tipping point of a lot of things, and we're seeing these tipping points turn. And 23% of the market said, doesn't matter about the wait time, I always prefer a human. I will never move. So I'll just wait. But remember, we have an aging population in this country, and there is that in the data as well. I'm not saying older people don't like AI. My mum is all over the internet more than I am. Even though I run the tech company, she knows more about YouTube. We just don't know how this is going to drop. It's just who's got the more need and adoption. 15-minute wait, 10-minute wait. I'm not saying any of us here have 15-minute waits in our contact centers because we also know you probably churn the customer by then. They'll get their money refund and run away and never come back. If we can't deliver really fast This also says if we can't deliver and we can't invest in having large human-led contact centers, there is hope because the consumer will shift to something else on the 5-minute wait. This is the nightmare of all doctors, lawyers, and every expert out there who everyone is consulting the expert before meeting the expert. This is no different for the customer support representative. They're supposed to be the expert in credit cards or the returns, or they're supposed to be the expert in giving financial services advice or telco what plan to buy. How frequently, when asked, do customers consult AI tools first before they hit customer support? If you think about it, only about half of the market is using it before they talk to customer service. And you can start to see the frequency. 7% very often, 18% often, sometimes. So if you divide that pie in the middle, almost a lot of people are doing their own research on how to resolve the issue. They're already coming in, and that's why if we are not enabling our customer support staff with that same AI tool, they're probably going to be left like, how come I can't give this advice and they can? They're already coming in with 3 pathways and you only got 1 pathway. So gone are the days of just scripting, because the customer has many pathways and they know more about your company than your own reps on days. What is the motivation? So when asked, why do you use these external tools for customer support and you don't just ring the company? Why do you do this research? Why do they use it? Motivation, after hours availability. The AI allows me to do and resolve things after hours, faster than contacting the company, better summaries. Nothing's worse than someone giving you a T's and C's on the phone and you're like, oh my God, I waited 10 minutes and now you're reading out what the mobile phone plan looks like. And I don't know if I missed something. So if it's a very technical journey, people are preferring, because no one can summarize like AI can. We've all used it and it can still summarize it for you. And you can say, I didn't understand it. Can you make it shorter? So they like the summaries in that. How does this relate to our customer service? Well, we have to empower our staff to summarize in the same way. And they need to be enabled with some of these tools to be able to summarize. It helps people to solve the issue and not start from scratch. So it allows them to kick the journey off being more informed and not just to go start from scratch. And that's the main motivation, to be informed before you jump in. So both parties are not starting from ground zero, because no one's got the patience for that. And why would they not use it? And why do they prefer to contact those that say they never use AI? We also wanted to do a deep dive on these people. Why don't you use it? Because it's cheap, it's free. And the number one thing is, I prefer to contact company directly. Trust. All of the trust that you have built over the years in your brand, it's not just all gone away to ChatGPT. 41% said they prefer, I don't trust the answers in AI. Trust is going to be at the deficit, we believe, because everyone knows that no one understands who controls the AI, especially the external one. The answers coming to me, do they have an ulterior motive? Are they leading me down the wrong path? Do they have my best interests at heart? Forget all of that. Are they regulated? Whereas all of us are regulated, is the AI regulated? In the answers it's giving back. None of us can give our customers answers. We are under heavy regulation to give answers. So there is huge benefit in your go-to-markets, in your customer service charters, to actually amplify the fact that you are regulated, so your answers are much more trustworthy, your ability to resolve is much more trustworthy, and they shouldn't go elsewhere.